Yes, Andrea, you need to take time off. No, you will not be able to work, at least during the first couple of weeks. Then you will have to ease back in slowly. You can't just go full force at 150,000% like you normally do. You're listening to The Creative Impostor, episode number 74. Welcome to The Creative Impostor. I'm Andrea Klender, and it has been a while. I had one episode telling you where I had been because it had been a while, and telling you that I was back with some new ideas, some fresh content, and I am, but it took a while. And this is a personal note episode to share with you some things that are happening and why I came back and then disappeared again and am back, but we'll see. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. Okay, stop being cryptic and talking in circles, Andrea, and get to the point. My vision for 2019 with The Creative Impostor was to have a slight shift in the direction and the content that I produce on this channel. And that was to look at this idea of imposter syndrome, of self-confidence, of identity, of creativity, of work in terms of being. So I feel like since the beginning of this show, we've been really focused on these concepts and these feelings in terms of what we do, in terms of our careers, in terms of the work that we're creating in the world, which is all awesome and valid and important and interesting. But I've been thinking a lot about how it relates to who we think we are and how we feel inside. And that includes and encompasses work and career, but it doesn't stop there. There are other deeper things to explore that maybe, to me at least, feel a little grayer, a little more nebulous, a little muddier and harder to navigate. So that was my intention at the end of 2018. And I was brainstorming ideas for what I wanted to talk about, how I wanted to approach this topic. And then suddenly, on January 2nd of 2019, my doctor called me with my biopsy results. I know. As soon as you hear that word, doesn't your stomach just drop? It feels like it can never be good news. And I don't have much of a prior relationship with this word, but I do now. It turns out, and I'm going to share a little bit of personal information with you here. I hope that you don't mind, and I hope that you will see how this is relevant to you and how it can be helpful for you. But the results are a cluster of stage 0 precancerous cells in one breast. So the official diagnosis is called DCIS, which stands for ductal carcinoma in situ, meaning that these abnormal cells that should not be there, that behave much like cancer cells, have clustered together inside a milk duct. And they have not gone anywhere else. They're just hanging out there, causing problems, looking ominous, and the doctors want to take them out. So, after much research, many appointments, second opinion, switching medical teams, I have decided that that is an inevitable reality and am going to be having surgery in mid-March to do that, and also some reconstruction. Believe me when I tell you that this has really had a challenging impact on my own sense of self and perception of identity. And imposter syndrome definitely has come up in terms of being, not doing, in a very different way than what I had intended in 2018 when I was dreaming up this change. Things like, but I'm young, but I'm healthy, but I don't have a family history, but I eat pretty clean, but I am not somebody who gets plastic surgery, right? And I find myself in a plastic surgeon's office talking about repurposing fat and tissue from one part of my body to the other part of the body versus getting breast implants, like something that I never in a million years would have imagined would be me. And I don't know, you may be somebody who has gone through something similar, or maybe you are somebody who has had certain plastic surgery. And I am certainly not being judgmental. I am just saying that I feel like I'm somebody who's very organic and holistic and would not be somebody to do that sort of thing. But suddenly when you're presented with this thing that is going to happen to your physical body that already is changing your sense of self, because let's face it, no matter how holistic and organic you are, at least for me, I should stop saying you, I should start saying me, the way that I perceive my body, my physical appearance is very directly related to my sense of self and my identity and how I want to present to the world. I had not really thought about these things in these ways and never really wanted to be 100% honest. So here was this heavy diagnosis, this diagnosis that many people say to me, oh, well, thank God they caught it early. It could have been so much worse. It's totally treatable. You're in good hands with the medical team that you're going with. At least you are young and strong and healthy, blah, blah, blah. And all of these things may be true, but it still feels terrible. It still feels, I've run the gamut of emotions. I've been shocked. I've been devastated. I've been angry. I've been sad. I've been completely detached from any emotion whatsoever. I've been frustrated. I've been confused. I've even felt moments of relief. Well, thank God the genetic test for predisposal to breast cancer came back negative. Well, thank God the MRI came back clear of any other concerning things anywhere else in my body. I find myself saying, well, at least this, well, at least that. And really, I just want the whole thing to go away. I spent, I'm going to say, probably a good solid 7 days thinking, if I can just wake up, if I can just wake up and realize that this has been a very long, very effed up, very realistic, horrible nightmare. And now I can go back to my normal life. Now I can go back to the way things were, because at the end of 2018, things were pretty great on a lot of levels. I had a lot of momentum. I had some ideas for podcasting services that I was offering, which I talked about in the last episode, the Podcast Envy Launch Pod for new podcasters, the Podcast Envy VIP Circle. I am speaking at Podfest in March. And yes, the timing has worked out that I will still be able to present at Podfest. Basically, March 7 through 9, I will be in Orlando, Florida, at Podfest, an amazing podcasting conference. So if you are podcasting or thinking about podcasting and you want to treat yourself, you can still get a ticket to go and join me there. I'm presenting a breakout session on voice training for podcasters. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to present on this topic and facilitate this topic for a while, incorporating a lot of my different creative disciplines and training and background from theater and music and yoga and meditation and podcasting, of course, all into this one really interactive, awesome session. And there was a brief moment of time where I thought the timing was going to work out where I would not be able to go and present, but I will be. I will be going to Florida, doing this session, hanging out with other awesome podcasters, and then immediately come back and 2 days later be in surgery, in the hospital for 3 to 4 days, and then in recovery for 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. Yes, Andrea, you need to take time off. No, you will not be able to work, at least during the first couple of weeks. Then you will have to ease back in slowly. You can't just go full force at 150,000% like you normally do. Actually, it bothers me when people say percent's over 100. You will not just be able to go at 100% full force like you normally do. Slowing down, taking time off, recovery, healing, all of these things sound awful to me and not like me, not like who I am, not like where my career has been going, not like what I want to be focusing on in 2019. But this happens, right? This happens. I'm not special. This is not just me. I mean, you probably are thinking of something that has happened to you that's similar, maybe a different diagnosis, maybe something not health related, but some kind of family emergency or financial emergency or political emergency, something to do with your safety. Maybe you're thinking of someone close to you who has had something similar that they've gone through. Or maybe you're thinking, oh God, I hope this never happens to me because I've been pretty blessed and lucky to this point. But yeah, I guess you just never know. There are some things that are beyond your control. And then as a creative individual, as a creative professional, you've sort of got to sort it out for yourself. And there are no easy answers. And I mean, sort it out, like sort out your health and your well-being. Yes, of course. But I also mean sort out, okay, most of the people that I've talked to who have had this similar diagnosis, procedure, etc., are very helpful and supportive and given me a lot of good advice, and all had full-time jobs with an employer and medical leave, so they could take 4 weeks off paid. And someone at the office was going to pick up at least the bare minimum of the slack so that things didn't fall by the wayside too terribly. I don't have that. I don't have sick leave. If I don't work, I don't get paid. If I don't get paid, I can't afford to get the things that I need to support me in my healing and recovery. And yes, insurance is a whole other topic. And so far that has been good. Knock on wood, cross fingers. So grateful to have that, especially because there was a period in my freelance career where I did not have that. However, there are things that I feel I need, like healthy organic groceries, like acupuncture, like energy work, like essential oils and herbs and all of those things that are going to support me. But if I'm not working, where is that going to come from? And I don't want to be in a lack mindset. I know, be in an abundant mindset. But there is that stress, that pressure if I don't get paid time off. And also I have clients that I need to support. I've worked really, really hard over the last few years to build a sustainable business and an amazing client base and find systems and processes that really work to help service those clients in the best way possible. And there will be at least a 2-week period in which I cannot do that. And my clients' shows don't stop, and those deadlines don't go away. And sure, there are some ways that you can massage things. And I do have a wonderful part-time freelance support team in my audio engineer, Edwin, and in my associate editor, Maddie. But they're very part-time, and there are certain things that they cannot do in my work. There are certain functions in my business that only I can do. And this is a huge blind spot, right? For somebody who's a creative entrepreneur who's building a business and taking on more work, I don't think we always plan for contingencies of what happens when I can't. And it doesn't feel good. So I'm working on that. And it's something for all of us who are creative freelancers or businesses of one to really stop and consider and think about, what is the contingency for when you can't? I don't want to be a total downer, and I don't want to belabor this point. I'm sharing all of this with you because I think it's relevant and I think it's important. I am going to be continuing to create content and produce episodes of this show. In fact, I already have one interview and one session, 2 amazing guests recorded that are coming to you so super soon. Tina Conroy from the Intuitive Woman podcast is going to be in the next episode sharing an intuitive forecast for me, my personal forecast for the year, which we actually did in the very beginning of January, right when I had received this diagnosis. And I held on to it and didn't publish it right away because I've really been focusing on client work and upping my game in terms of getting their content ready. I've been battling with days where I just can't do anything because of feeling depressed and overwhelmed and being in my emotions and just being with myself. So I haven't had the time, the mental space, the energy, and also, to be honest, I was working out exactly how I wanted to share this with you and to what extent I wanted to share this with you and what I thought would actually be helpful and relevant for you where you are creatively in your life and work at this moment. And I just wanted to present it in exactly the right way. So though it is mid-February, Tina's forecast for the year from January through December for me will be coming for you in just a matter of days after this episode releases, if you are listening in real time, quote unquote. And an amazing interview with Aya Nicole Cook, who is the founder of Haji Healing Salon in the South Side of Chicago. And I wanted to talk to Aya Nicole because I love the business that she's creating, and because she experienced a health crisis at a young age as well that really shifted her identity, her sense of self, and her career in business. And I really wanted to talk with her about that. So that interview is also coming. What I am committing to is that more Creative Impostor is coming. It just is going to be a little inconsistent because I am going to have to take some time off. I am prioritizing my clients and my clients' shows ahead of my own. And the content that will be coming your way will be deep. It'll be personal. It'll be so good. And I know that you are going to get a lot out of this new kind of different 2019 season. I do not want you to worry about me. I have an amazing support team, both medically and also personally around me, taking care of me. And I may or may not be sharing or posting in my private Facebook group, The Creative Impostor. I haven't decided yet how much I'm going to be sharing there, but if you want any updates from me, of course, please go ahead and join the Creative Impostor Facebook group and or follow me on Instagram, because Instagram still feels like a safe place to play, which I don't know if it is, but it feels that way. And I'm at Andrea Klunder on Instagram. Links to all of these social media destinations, as well as the VIP circle and launch pod for podcasters that will be coming back late April, as well as Podfest March 7 through 9, will all be in the show notes for you at thecreativeimpostor.com/074 for episode 74, thecreativeimpostor.com/074 for episode 74. And I think that's all I have to say at this moment. I thank you so much for listening, for being subscribed, for being patient for more content. And I can't wait to share more of The Creative Impostor with you soon. This episode was mixed by Edwin Ruiz at Mondo Machine. Our theme music, of course, is by Jovia Armstrong. And this week, I am wishing you the space and time to get the sleep and rest that you need to be your best.